So I got this comment on my new video about Chiaki J. Konaka that I find interesting because it kind of raises some complaints with the trajectory my videos have had lately that I think are understandable and recognizable and have been had by some people even though they haven't been had by um, a majority, but there's sort of a minority coming to the forefront who feels this way, and I wanted to address it because I think it's interesting. It was a commenter called Rising Bob. He says, "Dear Digibro, I'm kind of disappointed with the recent development of your channel. What made your videos so good was that your perspective was always well thought out and reasonable. The way you brought your point across was very clear, and the videos had a message. I miss those kinds of videos, just good old analysis. But it seems like you've become content with simply making a shit ton of podcasts, half-hearted vlogs, rants, and here and there a proper edited video, which you don't even seem to script anymore. That decrease in quality is really apparent. What I loved about your content is that you're probably the best anime YouTuber around when it comes to analysis. You're simply a good critic. You said yourself that you started doing anime videos instead of videos about games or movies because anime was the medium you didn't see good content coming out for, and you fucking did it. You were that guy who raised the bar. I want to see more of that and less of the unscripted, vlogging, ranting digi. TLDR, stop doing unscripted garbage and do more proper analysis." Now, what interests me about this comment is that in spite of what he's saying, I don't actually know what he wants. And anyone else who feels this way, I'm not really sure what you want or what you mean by this. Not to say that I'm saying, like, oh, my content's not obviously different. It is obviously different. But when you say, for instance, that my perspective is well thought out and reasonable, I don't see that having changed at all. That the way I bring my point across is clear and the videos has a message. I don't think that's changed at all. The format has changed. Like, I think it's pretty clear what I'm saying in my videos. I think it's pretty clear what my point is. Even if it maybe takes more words to get there because I'm not writing it as tightly or as eloquently, it still is pretty obvious, like this video itself. It's about a guy who made a lot of really weird anime, and I want to celebrate his career. So I'm not entirely sure what he means because this type of video has always been around. You know, this is just like the Queen of Anime Melodrama video, or the Master in the Background of 40 Years of Japanese Animation, or the entire early section of my videos, which were all useless anime knowledge, where it was mostly about exploring the career paths of certain artists, or Akiyuki Shinbo in the 90s. You know, this one might not be as big of a research project as that Shinbo one was, but I don't think it's any less of the same than like the Mario Kata or background animator. God, what's the fuck is it? Shichiro. I can't remember his name right now off the top of my head. Anyway, this video I don't think is any different from those ones. And if anything, I'm kind of glad that it's unscripted because there's more space. And while I know a lot of people, including myself, really prize the sort of hyper-dense writing style, at the same time, there's been a lot of problems with that because of the fact that I kind of blast through information so quickly that it's hard to really let it settle in. Those videos historically have been ones that don't get a lot of response or impact. Like the Master in the Background of 40 Years of Japanese Animation, that video is so dense with the words that I didn't really get a chance to show off the background art in a good way. I was trying to cram like every show the guy ever worked on into this 4-minute video, and so you're just like blasting past all these backgrounds and shit, and I kind of wish it had had room to breathe. I wish it had been an unscripted video that would allow you to like take it all in. Similarly with my composer videos, where I found this style of like making an AMV out of an analysis, you know, so it's like showcasing the person's work in a way that allows you to drink it in a little bit more. And even then, those videos, like, it's hard for me to talk about music in a, what's the word I'm looking for, at length. So I have difficulty, like, having enough time to play a lot of music and show you a good, like, swath of their career. So I really end up focusing on just, like, what elements of their music I think are interesting. Like the fact that Taku Iwasaki genre bends and does like mashup style songs, or the fact that Taku Iwasaki does, I just said Taku Iwasaki. The fact that Tsuneo Imahori does noise guitars, and like he plays guitar solos on like all these Yoko Kanno projects. So, you know, like I kind of want those to become something that can be more explored, more in depth. I can show every show, as opposed to tightening it down to this like, you know, oh, the video has to blast through 8 different shows in 10 seconds in order for me to make the point. I'd rather like name all of those shows so that people can like fully get the picture in a way. Which is why I chose these videos to be the unscripted ones. Like, I wouldn't just do unscripted content for something like, say, again, the Shaft project that I'm working towards, you know, the one with the Akiyuki Shinbo in the 2000s. Like, that required me to watch all these shows and take all these notes and write down what all of the stuff is. But taking that approach with the Chiaki Kanaka video, I'm just trying to give a broad lens of his career, so it kind of makes sense to do it unscripted, and I don't think the script was any worse than it would have been had it been written, especially in this case. The Ava video I had some problems with because I used a lot of repetitive phrasing and just a few unnecessary details, but this Kanaka one, like, it reads like I wrote it, you know? I don't think there's a huge difference in the way I talk and the way I write, because I literally write stream of consciousness. I write whole posts in like an hour. So, you know, and then I go back and I edit stuff up. So the difference is kind of slight, and since I'm so practiced at speaking now, it's very easy to just go back through and cut everything out. I mean, it's not like these unscripted videos on the main channel are something where I just like blurted it all into a microphone and didn't edit it. Usually the recordings are twice as long as the finished product, because I sit there and I consider each phrase I'm going to say, and then I speak it like I would, you know, if I was reading it off of a page. But anyways, to get further into this, it seems you've become content with simply making a shit ton of podcasts, half-hearted vlogs. I don't know what he means by half-hearted vlogs. I don't know how any of my vlogs are half-hearted. Like, I don't know if he means that there were vlogs that had whole heart before and now they're half-hearted. As far as I'm concerned, my vlogs are all basically the same. I mean, y'all saw me go apeshit on For Neverworld. That was no different level of intensity from any other vlog I've ever done. You know, definitely full-hearted on that particular one. And I haven't been doing as many vlogs lately. Like, I haven't had a shitload of great vlog ideas to go for, except for on the music channel. And the music channel has been the opposite of half-hearted. Digibro's Turntable has been the best content I've been putting out, in my opinion, in recent times. I'm really excited about that channel, and I think everything on it is interesting and solid. And I also like doing podcasts. I love podcasts. I love listening to podcasts. My favorite thing, my favorite piece of media in existence right now is the Dick Show podcast. Like, I care more about that podcast than anything else that comes out on the internet. And, you know, so, like, to me, like, the stuff I'm consuming is usually the kind of stuff I'd like to be able to create. So, I'm definitely excited about most of the podcasts I'm doing. You know, there's some of them probably could be wrapped up. I don't think the Made in Abyss podcast is great, but I'm trying to just go through it because we started it. Might as well finish it. And here and there, a proper edited video, which you don't even see in the script anymore. The decrease in quality is really apparent. It's somewhat apparent, I guess. But here's the thing. Like, I don't know how any of those other things existing affects this. Because if you go back to my channel's history, like, just count out how many, you know, main channel videos there are, it's consistent. Like, with the exception of last month, where I did the most interesting thing about videos, and that was because I was moving, and I just didn't have time to script a bunch of videos, or create any, like, main channel content. It just wasn't happening, so there was a dearth there, you know? And then, because Devu was, like, really hurting for money at the time, and he couldn't wait around for me to, like, pen a bunch of, like, really advanced scripted videos, he was, like, begging me for work. I was like, okay, how about I do some unscripted work that I can get out quickly and give those to you, and you'll have that now. You can work on that while I go write something, you know? And now I've got a script that he's working on. So my next video is scripted. It's a concept I think is really interesting. Maybe you will too. I have no idea. But that's where, that's the thing. All these podcasts and vlogs being on the main channel, I'm really just doing that because the way YouTube works right now, the way the algorithm works, is that if you want to grow a channel, you need to have 3 videos a week. That's the golden ratio right now. 3 videos a week is what you need to make a channel grow. And there's no way I can do 3 scripted videos a week. There's no way I can do 3 Devu edited videos a week. Those are big projects. I can do 3 or 4 a month, as I have been doing for years. Maybe 5 if we really bust ass. But I don't know. There's not like a huge incentive for me to grow the main channel right now. Like, I'd kind of rather work on just other channels because, again, I don't really care that much about growth. I just care about my Patreon and, like, keeping my patrons happy and giving them the kind of content they want. So, like, I'm not hugely concerned with growing the main channel, but I'd like to try. And so I'm just trying to put more videos on there. Like, the same amount of edited content is coming out, with the exception, again, of last month. But, like, now there's other stuff in the middle, you know? If you don't like the Made in Abyss podcast, skip it. Skip that one. Skip the podcasts. Skip the vlogs or whatever, you know? But, again, I couldn't write anything last month except for the most interesting thing about, because I didn't have time. At the start of this month, I gave Devu unscripted shit, but, you know, scripted videos are coming. Be fucking patient. It's been 2 months. Anyway, you said yourself that you started doing anime videos instead of videos about games or movies because anime is a medium you didn't see good content for and you fucking did it. You raised the bar. Now, this is the part I want to get to the most, though. I don't know, when people say they want, like, my analysis back, I don't know what they mean. Like, what is the analysis you miss? What is the kind of video you miss? Because there's certain kinds of videos that I've just kind of done them all. You know, like, I can only talk about... Let's say I cover Evangelion. Once I've said everything I have to say about Eva, there's no more videos to make about Eva. You know, it'll be complete. That's done. And there's no other Eva. There's not a show coming out every year that's Evangelion. You know, there's not a show coming out every year that I can write an in-depth analysis about. I covered Girlish Number at the start of the year because I had a lot to say about it. I covered Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid because I had a lot to say about it. I have had nothing to say about the shows that have come out since then, that I've seen. You know, there hasn't been a show that has a depth of themes and characterization that I think, oh my god, I have to fucking blog about that show. There just hasn't been one. You know, the shows I've watched haven't inspired that in me. So I can't just do that about any show. I've tried. It doesn't come out that well. You know, like, some of my videos that are about shows that don't really have much to analyze, people go, why'd you even bother? That show didn't have that much to analyze. And I'm like, I don't know. I have to analyze something. You know, you guys keep asking me for more analysis. It's going to have to be some random fuck-off show if there's nothing that's actually worth analyzing coming out. And then there's the more broad general concept stuff. And, like, I've tackled a lot of it. Talked about anime aesthetics extensively. You know, I've made guides to how visual cohesion works, guides to, like, different ways to approach visuals. I've made the aesthetic is narrative video, just justifying aesthetics in general. I've done a ton of different videos about the different ways to consume anime, reasons to consume it. Like, I've just covered a lot of the ground. Like, if you want a broad concept thing, tell me what concept I haven't covered. Tell me what angle I haven't explored. Tell me what show you think I need to analyze that I haven't analyzed yet. That I haven't, and I'll tell you in return, like, well, I don't have anything to say about that one, or, oh, maybe I should get around to that one finally. But, like, you know, and a lot of the times when I do that, people, the same people who are, like, crying for more analysis, if I go break down some 2005 show that they haven't heard of, they're probably not even going to watch that video. You know, like, as much as you might want more anime analysis, like, are you going to watch it if it's an analysis of a show you've never heard of or don't care about? You know? I've always wanted to do these kinds of broad concept, these like, anime history kind of things. Like, this is how I started. I started off doing, like, creator backgrounds and shit like that. And stuff like the Eva, the history, like how Eva affected the industry. Those are both ideas I've had for a very long time. I've talked about the fact that Ava changed the industry that way in other videos. Like, I've mentioned that, but I felt like I could flesh it out and make it more clear by, like, literally name-dropping all the anime and pointing out, like, here's what it was before, here's what it was after, here's the shows that are evidence of that. You know, and it was, I finally made the video because someone asked me on Twitter, like, can you tell me all the cool shows that came after Evangelion? And I was like, sure. You know, this is a recommendation video. Chiaki J. Kanaka, I've wanted to do a video about him forever. I think he's, like, the most interesting anime writer. So, you know, I finally did it. So, like, it's not as though this is some new direction I'm taking. This is the same shit. This is the same kind of shit I've always been doing. It's just packaged a little bit differently, and I don't think that package is necessarily worse. It might feel different and take some getting used to, but it's also not like the old packaging is gone anywhere. I just keep adding new things, new innovations, new ideas on how to do it. You know, unscripted videos have been a part of my channel for a very long time. The Sakamoto video is completely unscripted. The You're Gonna Carry That Weight video, which is a lot of people's favorite fucking video on my channel, is unscripted. I'm trying to think if there's another great example. There's been a handful of unscripted videos that, you know, just were out here and there. A lot of people like the podcast. A lot of people love Old Ass Anime Cast. My editor, Devu, messaged me the other day and said that he finally got the chance to listen to all of it because he had never had the chance. And he was like, I thought it was as good as the Asterisk War sucks. You know, like, I don't agree with him, but I was like, okay, damn. Like, some people really value this new content I'm doing. Some people really value these different styles. And I'm doing it for a reason. And that reason is not laziness and half-heartedness, but it is, like, I don't have a written analysis video in mind right now, you know, except for the one I just wrote, and the next one I'm probably going to write. But, like, you know, when people say, oh, I wish you'd go back to the analysis videos, I'm like, well, what do you want me to analyze? What is there? If you think there's something I haven't covered, let me know, because as far as I know, I did the broad concept stuff I wanted to talk about. I did the individual show stuff. And that's not to say I've done everything I have plans for. There's still a bunch of shit I've talked about here and there that I have plans for. If you're a patron, you've probably heard me talk about some of the things that I have in mind for the future. But, again, I just want to know, like, this is not something that can just go on forever. It's not you can't just keep making up new anime to analyze. They have to exist. There has to be another concept, you know? If you break down every different element of what makes an anime and explain how to do it right and how to do it wrong, where do you go from there? Other than to get, like, really weird and specific and esoteric, which is what my next video is going to be. The next written one is me just, like, talking about some shit that I think only I have ever thought about and will not matter to anyone, but I think it's cool. So, like, that's the direction you got to go in when you've covered the basics. So, yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe for guys like this, maybe it really is the end of an era. Like, maybe if you were into me, not because you enjoyed me and my individual perspective and, like, hearing my voice and just whatever it is I have to say, then, like, if you just come to me because you want to be impressed and have your mind blown about anime, you've already reached the highest level. There's no new giant mind blow. There's nothing I can tell you again that's gonna explode your mind because you know all the things now because I've already explained it all. So, like, you know, this is what it means to get older, is what I guess I'm saying.